Well, good evening. Um, I went and visited a elderly man today, and I was encouraged by what I remember about him. He was in one of my nursing homes several years ago, and they had moved him around to different homes, and I had to travel a pretty good ways to go get to where he was. He remembered who I was, thankfully. Me and him has been pen pals ever since we met one another. This is always so special, is when you get a letter that is written like this, and he's still willing to write me a letter, even though that it's difficult to read, but he's still willing to be faithful. I was reading tonight in the book of Ephesians chapter 6, and this is where Paul was closing out his writing to the Ephesians, and there was one verse that stood out to me. There's actually two verses, but we might only just get to one. It says in verse 10 in chapter 6 of Ephesians, it says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." You know, it was good to see that brother today, but I knew that he was weak. I knew that he is more frail now than he was several years ago. But Paul is talking to believers of the people that he knows, just like I knew this man, and thankfully he remembered me and he knew who I was. Paul is referring to people that he is calling brethren. It says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." He's talking to the ones that he knows, just like I talked to the man of the one that I knew today. He told them to be strong. What makes us strong? Well, one thing that makes the man that I went to visit today strong is he remembered when he got saved. He got saved back in 1974. He remembers it was December 1st, 1974. He has read his Bible through 47 times since he's been saved. That adds up to one time a year that he has read his Bible. And he is still reading his Bible. And he's in the book of Nehemiah right now. And it's just amazing to just watch the man even be so frail, to be able to still have the desire to want his devotionals and his gospel tracts. I give him probably 100 gospel tracts because he hands them out. He's still willing to do what he can. Even living in a nursing rehabilitation center, I don't get to see him as much. And it was a little bit heartbreaking to see him in the condition that he was in. But then I'm thinking, you know, Paul says here, he told his brethren here to be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. What makes us strong? Is it our wisdom? Is it our thinking? No, I don't really think that our wisdom and our thinking is going to help. If anything, I was reading in Isaiah, it might have been in Isaiah 64, where it talked about us being like filthy rags. And see, our strength, if it's our wisdom and our thinking, then that's where we mess up. It says to be strong in the Lord. So he's telling them here, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Be strong in the Lord and in his power. And I started thinking of things that operate with power. And I thought of something, and I'll go over it in just a minute, but the lady had to bring the man to me today because he's not able to push himself to be able to get down to where we was at today. They had to assist him to get him outside the door so that I could be able to speak to him. But then it talks about here the power of his might, talking about the Lord's power and the Lord's might. I don't know if this lesson tonight is going to move anybody or not, but I was thinking about something that just came to my mind. And I thought, well, what beautiful example that I can use to be able to talk about that actually explains what I'm actually going to say. I think of an electric fence. I've had a many of electric fence over my years of farming. Electric fence works real good when everything works right. I think of the electric fence. I think of the fact that in order for it to work, number one, it has to have a power source. The power source most of the time is electrical current. Plug it into the wall and it sends power to the box. The box has a flasher on it that will allow it to pulsate. And as it pulsates, it would turn on a red light. And it would let you know that when the red light turns on, that means that the power is going out through the line. And if it's not plugged in, you got a problem. That box also has to be grounded. There's a lead on that electric fence box that has to go to your ground to make it where it will work correctly. Without a good ground, it doesn't do the same job as it would if it wasn't grounded. I mean, it doesn't operate as well. The ground rod has to be in the ground. It has to be connected. It has to be hooked up. When the pulsating light is on and it's grounded and you see the light flashing on and off, you know that the fence is charged. You know that the fence is got its maximum amount of power that box is producing to make it electrified. You want the wire to be hot. The power is on. But here's the problem with the electric fence box. A lot of times the wire runs into weeds. And the better electric boxes that they sell on the market today is designed to burn into them weeds and to kill them weeds and to make the weed go away. And it will allow the weed to burn to the point that it will lose contact with the wire. That's the way it's designed anyway. But a lot of times the weeds overwhelm the power, overwhelms the ability for the fence to send out the charge. The reason the red light is there is when you see the brightness of the red light, you know that the fence is charging and it's doing its job. But when the light gets dim, it helps you to recognize that there's something that wire is hitting. If you don't see the red light, if you don't see the pulsating light, then you know that there's an automatic problem. So the first thing that you do is you unplug it. That's the first thing that you do, is you go ahead and kill the power source to kill it so that you can go and walk the fence and find the issue. Sometimes the issue is real simple. Sometimes you have to always get to the very end of the line to find where the problem is. It could be anything. It could be, you name it. It can hit limbs. It can hit brush. Sometimes the wire will even break and snap. Generally speaking, if the wire breaks and there's no grounding going on from the box to where the break is, you think that the fence is working. But the fence is not charged all the way. So therefore the fence is not going to be activated to keep the charge if the wire breaks. So the purpose of you checking your fence is to make sure that the charge goes all the way through. They make instruments that you hang on the wire and ground it to see if it flashes or not. They make like a tester kit that will actually let you know that the fence is still hot as of this area that you're standing in. And the only way that you can know if the fence is hot is by checking it, obviously. If you got brush and the wire snaps, there's no more current that's going until you make the repair. Let me ask you a question. I'll said all that to say this. What robs your power? See, this man that wrote this letter right here, over time, his power is going to give out. He's not going to be able to do much of this as he gets older, as he gets more feeble. He's not going to be able to read as good as he's reading. He's not going to be able to write as good as he's writing right now. What weakens our power? You know, I'm 62. He's only 10 years older than me. I haven't read my Bible for the last 14 years through and through. I think I've done it one time. What weakens our power? What things runs into our line that weakens our system? Is religion your power? I can tell you right now, if religion is your power, then you need to go check your system. Because religion is not going to help what's wrong with your fence. I'm talking about this verse right here. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Without his power and without his might, then your fence system is not going to be adequate. And, I don't know what the future holds. It goes on to say, put on the whole armor of God. And, when you put armor on, armor is designed to be effective. But that fence has a tendency to let grass grow into the fence. And it allows weakness to come into the line. And see, the picture of the weeds and the limbs and the grass and the breaking of the wire is things that this world shorts out many people to study their Bible. We see people, just like my friend that I visited today, I see him getting weaker. But at the same time, I see a lot of wisdom to just be able to watch him and look at him and see his ability to continue to keep going keep doing what he's doing. It's one thing to have an electric fence that works great. It's another thing to allow things to rob us, because the Bible verse said, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. And I'm afraid that a lot of people ain't worried about it. Their meditation is not on the Lord. Them pleasing the Lord is not the number one priority. But the electric fence can only be effective if it's installed correctly. If it's installed where it's designed to be insulated and it's designed to be managed, it does a great job. But when you let things get near it, it shorts out. And I think that there's times that life in general allows weeds into our life. It allows broken limbs into our life. It allows the charger to not charge as much. I'm sure that man over the 47 years has learned a lot of reading his Bible. I'm faithful to open my Bible and to study my Bible. But there's so much that I don't know. There's so much that I'm ignorant of. And when this verse here says here, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, my finger pointed to this verse. I asked the Lord for a message, and when my finger pointed to this one verse, I can't go and look at the other verse, because it does say put on the whole armor of God. But the verse that he pointed me to was, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. So number one, I have to know what his power is. I have to understand a little bit about his might, how that nothing is going to shorten him out. Nothing is going to weaken him. But see, we allow things in our life to weaken our testimony. And that's the part that I'm trying to say tonight. If there's something that is shortening your might, it might not be that it's God's fault. It's more than likely your fault. And my suggestion would be to go, like I wrote down, go check your system. Don't be just satisfied with the light not flashing. See, that charging light in that box is a bright red light, and it pulsates on and off, and it's designed that way to pulse on and off. And you know, come to think of it, them cows can smell that electricity in that wire. They can tell if that wire is on or not. When my wire would fall down many years ago, it was because something was grounding the wire that weakened the pulsating action of that fence to the point that that electric fence wouldn't be as effective, and they would know it. And when you got it corrected and you had that pulsating effect and that sharp, bright, sharp red light pulsating like it should, them cows knew that that fence was turned on. And you know what? They would still eat up under the fence, and they would use their neck. They would use their neck to reach under the fence, but you know what? Their neck would never touch that wire. And I believe that's sort of what the Lord is trying to say today. Just check your system. Evidently, this man has been checking his system for 47 years. It's just something to be reminded over. Elderly Ministry is the website. This is the YouTube page. If you'd like to friend me on YouTube, I do have some good news. I'm getting somebody that knows what they're doing to help me with the situation with Facebook. I'm having a real hard time posting videos. They kicking me out. They're not letting me post like I was before. And it's affecting the ability for me to send out the message effectively. But we're going to begin to work on that soon and very soon. And I'm happy and thankful that the Lord is sending me someone that is going to help me in this situation. So I thank Him for that. If I can help you in any way, look me up. Leave a message. There's a cell phone number there. Make sure you leave a message when you call. If you need to talk, if you need anything, by all means, give me a shout. I'm here all the time. The phone is available all the time. I'm happy to be able to help any way I can. Okay. I hope this is encouraging to you today. Send it on if you think that it might be something that maybe would help somebody. Help share it if you would. I appreciate y'all listening tonight. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one.